Hey folks, it's Mike from Mancraft. This is my YouTube special on craft of being a man, and today we're going to talk about raising redworms and harvesting night crawlers, and I'll tell you a reason why I like to raise redworms and the differences between redworms and night crawlers. So behind me here I have a couple bins I set up, and if you're sick and tired of paying $4 for a bunch of limp redworms at the store, you know what, why not get your own supply from me and start your own system. So I'll show you how to do that today. We got 3 worm bins set up, and what we're going to use redworms, which you can get from me, or just do a Google on the internet for redworm suppliers. And what you want to do is you want to create an environment for your redworms, and at the same time you want to make awesome fertilizer called worm cast, which is nothing more than worm poop. And when it's finished, it's real dark and crumbly, and here's where you're going to score points, because you're going to score points with the ladies because you're going to be able to grow awesome stuff in the garden. You're going to be able to give them free fertilizer for the house plants, and you're helping the environment by reducing waste that otherwise people would be just thrown away. So first of all, you need a bin. Any kind of bin will do. This is your home for your redworms. Now I've got a wood bin here that I got for free at a pallet place. And if you want to come over here and look, in the bottom here, I put a nice fine mesh screen in here to allow airflow. So you can see that air will be able to come through here, because worms need a really moist, wet environment. Damp, but not soaking, but they also need air. So if you look in here, this is our bedding, and this is our base. Think of making like lasagna out of organic stuff. This is our base. This is where the worms are going to live, okay? And this is a mixture of peat moss, coconut coir, leaves, rabbit manure, and sawdust, paper. It's real crumbly, and it's too dry at this point. It's got shredded leaves in there. Alright, so what we're going to use is, when we prepare our bedding, we're going to use redworms, okay? Icenia fetida, or red manure worms, and we raise them by the thousands here. And these are the guys that are going to convert all these waste materials into free fertilizer. So first step is to get your bin. You could have a metal bin like this, or a wooden bin. Now once we have our bin, what are we going to put in there for our base, our bedding? Well, we're going to use peat moss, mushroom compost, coconut coir, and potting mix that has sedge reed peat, okay? And that's our base. These are browns. These are brown materials, okay? Then we're going to add to that sawdust, hardwood sawdust, okay? Those are our browns. And you can add straw, which is hollow. And then we're going to talk about greens, which is grass clippings, old produce, old fruit, tomatoes, old cereal ground up, eggshells that I got finely ground up in my food processor, and we're going to add those to the top of the bin after we put in all of our bedding. Something else you want to maybe think about is, I went to a coffee store and got about a 50-pound bag of coffee grounds, okay? This would be considered a green, a nitrogen-rich source. Browns are carbon. But you want to put that in there because that's just going to really add to the overall mixture of your compost and your worms. And what the ideal is, you're trying to make a mixture of products that's going to make an awesome composted material and worm cast. The more diverse you are, the more things you put in there, the better it's going to be. You can add rabbit manure, cow manure, horse manure. Do not add any pet manure. Keep it diverse. Shredded cardboard's another one that I love to use, because I'll take cardboard like this, soak it down, shred it up in the lawnmower or my leaf composting system or my leaf shredder, and the worms love it. And to give you proof that they love it, there's a glue that's made from cow hoofs that's a protein, and worms love it. So Josh, come on over here. And they love cardboard because you can see they'll crawl in between the segments like this and eat the glue, okay? And you notice we got some pill bugs in here, which is perfectly normal, excellent, because it'll actually help your compost break down. And if you look, you can see the red worms. Okay, I've got some old cucumbers in here, pears. You can see they're on that. They're eating the old cucumber. They love old corn cobs. As you can see, I just lifted up. Look at all the red worms, okay? That's what you want. So if you're sick and tired of paying premium price for bait, start raising your own, and in the process, look at the black, rich, free fertilizer you're going to get, okay? Red worms reproduce every 2 weeks. So if you start with 500 to 1,000 red worms and you keep feeding them, and you get your own system going, you can actually start a red worm farm if you want. You can do it as a hobby with your kids. It's a great thing to do. Keep in mind that these red worms are not the same as native night crawlers, which are completely, totally different species. These are the guys that, oh, hear me, sorry about that. We got one red worm that's snuck in there, but these guys are dew worms, native night crawlers. These are not the same as red worms. But I picked these at night in the spring, and I have a nice little bait business that I started with my boys. And you can actually learn how to do that in another segment on Mancraft. So stay tuned for more issues on Mancraft. We're going to talk about chainsaws, splitting wood, axes and hatchets, how to make really cool stuff out of hand sawn lumber, trees you cut down. So keep in mind, this is a great series for men, and it's called Mancraft, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching.